We are now going to close a wound using an interrupted suture technique. Take a suture in your needle holder. Ensure that it is grasped 2/3 around the curve from the point. Also ensure that the needle is perpendicular to the needle holder. The basic movements for suturing are supinating and pronating at the wrist. Begin at one end of the wound. Insert the needle and come out in the middle of the wound, ensuring not to handle the needle with your fingers. Reload the needle on the needle holder and begin in the center of the wound, coming out to the opposite edge. Now tie this suture using any of the previously described techniques. In this video I will be using an instrument tied reef knot. The suture will be cut, leaving 3 to 5 millimeters of tear left. Continue along the wound suturing in this method. A key aspect of suturing is ensuring that you exit and enter the skin at a right angle to the wound. The distance between stitches will depend on how easily the wound edges can be approximated and how much tension or motion is likely to be exerted across the wound during healing. For example, a wound on a flexion surface, such as a knuckle, may require closer sutures than a wound on the scalp. We will now go through the technique for interrupted sutures again. Insert the needle and come out in the middle of the wound, ensuring not to handle the needle with your fingers. Reload the needle on the needle holder and begin in the center of the wound, coming out to the opposite edge. Now tie this suture. The suture will be cut, leaving 3 to 5 millimeters of tear left. The rest of the wound is now closed using this technique. Removal of interrupted sutures. You should avoid pulling exposed suture material through the wound. Each loop of the suture should be cut close to the skin entry on one side of the wound. You should then remove each piece of suture individually from the opposite side to the one which you have cut, thus avoiding pulling any exposed suture material through the wound. Now take time to practice this technique yourself.